chance. And offensive rebounding, they're very good, led by Dylan Arnett for K-State. Paint touches. You can get into this defense, make the pass out to the three-point line where they shoot the ball very well, or get easy baskets inside. And K-State needs to get off to a quick start. Been in the last 2 games, including the exhibition, K-State did many good things and ended the game well. But they started slow in each of those 2 games, including the opener officially against New Orleans. They were behind by 10 with 10 minutes left in the first half. You do not want that to become a trend.
K-State with the first possession here today. Same starters as the other night in the win over New Orleans. Good crowd here on a Saturday afternoon to watch their Wildcats. Into David N'Guessan, who had an eye-opening start to his season on Tuesday.
21 points.
Max Jones tips in his own miss. The Swiss Army knife. Going to work early.
Yes, and you got Coleman Hawkins, who may have that title as well. So you may have 2 different guys with all kinds of flexibility in what they can do for your basketball team.
Yeah, speaks to the versatility of this roster that Jerome Tang has put together. Nice inside, outside, but that rattles in and out for Tevin Smith and out of bounds to the Wildcats. So Cleveland State, a 48-point loss at Michigan on Monday. Then they bounce back Wednesday at home, a 38-point win over Baldwin-Wallace, a Division III team. They're playing their 3rd game in 6 days today.
Yeah, with a lot of travel in between. And the one story is their first shot. Ben, did you see that go into the basket, spin it around, and then go out? Danielle Robinson saying, can any of these fall? They've only made 5 3-point shots in 2 games.
Wow, yeah, 5 of 30 in their first 2 games, while they've watched their opponents shoot almost 50%. The strip and the steal for Chase Robinson, and we're tied at 2.
Chase,
good defense there by the senior.
Yeah, Chase, 24 years old, a very good defensive player. They will rotate a number of guys through the lineup, play tight man-to-man defense.
Jones gets downhill and the lob to N'Guessan.
C.J. Jones just plays a very comfortable game. You don't notice him until you look at the stat sheet and you say, wow, he has made no mistakes. K-State turned over the ball only 9 times in their last game. Last year they had double-digit turnovers or more in every single game, but he makes the right pass, and David N'Guessan scoring early.
And at 6'5" at the point, such a tough matchup on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's got a lot of advantages, and just his humbleness to play with this team. When you get inside and you can get into the paint, K-State, we talked about paint touches. Get in there, and you're going to be able to get behind the defense at times, and the lob is the best way to go over the top. David N'Guessan ready and slams it home.
N'Guessan with the steal. Ahead to Brendan Hausen. In for the layup, and Hausen gets a 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. You took the words right out of my mouth. You almost expected him to stop and pop from three-point land, but he couldn't get the ball before he got there, so he makes the easy layup. What a nice pass by Coleman Hawkins to get out in front.
Cats switch everything on the perimeter here. Now Jones against Robinson.
In this lineup, they can switch 1 through 5 if they want.
Floater is an air ball from Robinson.
Coleman Hawkins able to get the ball after the steal by N'Guessan, and he sees immediately to pass ahead, and what a bounce pass that was to deliver it between the defenders.
Trap up high on Jones. K-State moves it to the corner. Hausen for 3. Count it! And a chance for 4.
He is almost a better three-point shooter when he doesn't just catch and shoot. When he gives the pump fake, he sets his feet so well after the pump fake, and it's just almost like a free throw when he takes it up, taking the shot, making three-pointers. He made 4 in the first game for the Wildcats, and here he gets a chance for a 4-point play.
What a debut and a weapon he is for K-State. 17 the other night, and finishes off the 4-point play. Jerome Tang was talking on his radio show the other night that not only does he have the green light, he said he's got the neon green light.
Yes, and when he said that, I thought, well, this must be Baylor talk, because he coached at Baylor a long time. Like, which version of green is it? I'm going to go with neons a lot more. Shoot anytime you want. Coaching staff excited. This is exactly what we spoke about. You do not want your trend to be, oh, we ease our way into games. K-State off to a fast start here. K-State picks everybody up above the free throw line. 5 outlet to start.
Little pocket pass too strong for David N'Guessan to handle.
No room to make that pass. He needed to allow him to get a little further away.
Vesky with Hausen draped on him. Tevin Smith. Tough shot over the top of David N'Guessan.
That's a shot that they're going to have to make. That's the mid-range shot. That was a tough shot, but that's the one that Cleveland State can get at times and the one that they have the capacity to make.
Smith coming off a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds on Wednesday against Baldwin Wallace, and 2 fouls quickly here on Chase Robinson. Doug McDaniel and Bai fall into the action here before the 16 and under timeout for the Wildcats.
K-State has the flexibility to play a lot of different ways, and height is something they have a lot of. By fall, 6'11" off the bench. K-State fortunate that was not a turnover. Needed to wait just a second longer.
Great feed by Max Jones, back to Bai Fall.
Max Jones does so many things right. I mean, it's hard to see what he doesn't do right. What a pass.
Cole Franklin into the action here for the Vikings. He's double teamed on the baseline and finds a cutter and a layup.
What a great cut. Ibrahima Diba saved the day. The double team looked like it was locked in along the baseline, but the cut allows a basket.
Blocked by Smith on Coleman Hawkins. Athletic play there by the 6'4" Tevin Smith.
Diba with the ball right now, played at South Carolina last year.
Franklin, and Hausen lands right on top of him. A hard foul there will send us to a timeout. K-State up by 6. We'll talk Max Jones when we return with Sophie Smith.
About what they are willing to do. Jerome Tang and all his whole staff joined in. They've got theirs listed as well. Kind of a different way of getting to team goals. And we've seen the body being given up so far early in the year to make something happen.
Vikings basketball. Vesky off to Franklin. Now a baseline drive for Tevin Smith, and good defense there by Jones. Hawkins hammers that back down to the floor, and there's 1.2 to shoot. Good defensive energy so far for K-State.
Yeah, Coleman Hawkins so far has set himself in the middle of the paint and has been a giant factor. It's almost like when you're playing a game and you're growing up with a bunch of kids. He's just hanging in there in the middle and waiting for something to come his way and help out and make a play.
Shot clock violation.
And one of the big things you've got to do is keep this Cleveland State team off the offensive boards. Dylan Arnett is adept at sliding through and getting rebounds. Has a great ability to see where the ball's going, but so far they have been able to clear the boards from a K-State perspective.
Hawkins needs some help and gets called for the traveling violation. Was trying to get a timeout, but he went airborne. And
they're saying he took his pivot foot off the ground. Once he jumped into the air, he can jump from 2 feet, but when he takes a step and then picks up the other foot, it becomes a travel.
Cleveland State, a program that won 21 games last year.
They've been to the postseason 4 straight years. Had 20 wins or more each of the last 3 years, both program highs.
McDaniel.
Cleveland State's done a good job of marking Brendan Hausen. He had that one opportunity and he made it go, but otherwise they've been able to close out.
Corner 3 won't drop for Jones, but K-State will retain possession. Hawkins returns for by fall. Jones was 4 of 5 from beyond the arc in the opening game.
Cleveland State puts in a freshman, number 4, N'Guessan Stevenson from Chicago. Get out there and play that point guard position.
Hausen feeds it into Hawkins, who's bumped and fouled.
Paint touches. That was one of the keys in this game for K-State. They got a height advantage, but they got to deliver the ball at the right time in the right area. We've seen it done for a dunk. This time for an easy bunny. Just did not get squared up and able to shoot, but got fouled, and will get it go to the free throw line.
Hawkins last year 79% free throw shooter at Illinois. All Big Ten selection. Really haven't seen the scoring punch yet from him or guys like Achor, Doug McDaniel, 16-point-a-game scorer last year at Michigan. There's so many scoring options on this team. I think it's going to be guys taking turns different nights.
You expect that, but I think that's one of the things they're trying to learn early in the season, integrating a lot of new players emotionally and off the court. They've done a great job of coming together, but on the court you've got to say, am I going to take my shot? No, do I need to make the extra pass? I think they'll start out with a humble attitude, making more passes than are needed, but at some point they'll find out, like Brendan Hausen has, if I'm open, I'm going to take the shot. He's the one guy who's not been shot.
N'Guessan Stevenson's 3, a little strong. Hawkins couldn't control the rebound. And a foul on a strong take by Reese Robinson, the coach's son.
He is a freshman, and he is the coach's son, so that will give him notoriety, but that may not be the only worthy notoriety. His sister is a star volleyball player for the Wisconsin volleyball program. Big-time volleyball.
Yeah, perennial power.
Reese is earning more and more playing time. He had 11 points, made a three-pointer in his last ball game. A little more confidence from the Vikings right now, Ben, because they got shocked in the first game because Michigan just played great right from the beginning, made a bunch of outside shots, and it was one of those games where it was over so soon that you didn't see the best of what Cleveland State has to offer.
It took them a while to get untracked against Baldwin Wallace the other night. It was a close game throughout the first half, and then they just blew the doors off in the second half against the Division III team. Buddy Rich in there for Jerome Tang now.
Buddy Rich earning more playing time. It's a travel. It was a good call. David N'Guessan was going to spin the ball over to Buddy Rich, but he probably saw two things at the same time. One is it started to open on the inside, and he didn't think Buddy Rich was a three-point option, probably on the right side. So he said, hey, he got caught in between, picked his pivot foot up.
Yeah, he was thinking, I'm going to make that extra pass to the corner to Max Jones or Brendan Hausen, but
we got 3. Oh, Buddy doesn't want to shoot that 3 very often.
We talked about the energy by K-State defensively, but I think we're seeing a lot of that from Cleveland State as well.
Absolutely. If they can get to the boards, play some tough defense, and that is their best version of the Vikings. Right here in the mid-range, but knocked away by the Wildcats.
Franklin's got to throw it off with Buddy Rich, and shot clock at 3 on this possession.
Gives him a chance to settle and get a quick hitter from the side.
Debo trigger it in. Franklin. And that's going to be an air ball. Couple of shot clock violations already forced by K-State.
Yeah, good defense. On that inbounds play, you want to throw the ball to his left, not to his right. Just get somewhere closer to the basket. Don't end up that far away from the basket.
Hawkins, baseline drive and the finger roll.
He plays like he is a 6'5" or 6'7" player, but when he went up to shoot that shot, his arm just kept reaching and reaching. You remembered, oh yeah, he's 6'10". That was an easy layup, like a Nerf ball game or something. Cleveland State's getting doubled along the baseline. You cannot pick up the basketball right there. They got lucky one time and got out of there for a bucket, but basically it is trouble.
Hawkins and the Cats up by 8.
Here, and he won 21 games in each of his first 2 seasons at Cleveland State. Doing a very fine job. Interestingly enough, if you don't know about Cleveland State, before his time, Dennis Gates, the head coach at Missouri, was at Cleveland State, and he took them to the NCAA tournament a couple years before, but they're starting to establish a tradition there of winning in the Horizon League.
Runner to beat the shot clock won't go. Offensive rebound, but stolen by C.J. Jones. K-State with their 5th turnover of the first half. They only had 9 the other night. Great play by Hawkins after the turnover, but the offensive rebound and the stick back for the Vikings.
Yeah, highlight reel block, but still a basket by good offensive rebound by Cleveland State. 5 turnovers, and they had only 9 in the last game. So that is the thing that K-State is not happy with here early in the game.
Step back 3 from McDaniel. And pulled out of there by Deba for Cleveland State.
The man originally from Sweden.
McDaniel with the steal. Coast to coast for the lay-in.
And a timeout by Cleveland State. Doug McDaniel, nice steal. You cannot throw a cross-court pass like that and not realize where the defender is. Big play by Doug McDaniel, the transfer from Michigan. Ill-advised pass. You love to go side to side when you're running your offense. It's one of the best things in college basketball, but it's also one of the riskiest things in college basketball, because if it is stolen, it's an easy basket the other way.
McDaniel, 6 points, 8 assists the other night, and Sophie Smith has more on the transfer from Michigan.
Thanks, Ben. Just when asked about Doug McDaniel earlier this week, Jerome Tang, that he's a talent. He's really learning the point guard position and really understanding that there's so much more than just to being a point guard than dribbling and passing. He continued to talk about how McDaniel really lets the outcome of his shots affect him on the other side of the ball, but he's really a huge part of the Cats this season.
And Stan, maybe a little different role at the point from last year at Michigan, where they needed him to score. Not so much here in Manhattan.
Well, he did average 16.3 points a game, so he definitely was looking to shoot the basketball. And this year, they need him to distribute the ball, take his shots when given the opportunity, but there are a lot of scoring options otherwise. And then his minutes are going to have to be distributed. He's going to have to share minutes with C.J. Jones and David Castilla, the freshman. Running the offense, avoiding turnovers, getting the guys the basketball where they need to get it is the main focus.
McDaniel, the rebound, leads the break.
And now you see 2 of those point guards on the court together.
Hawkins gets it back, and he is fouled going strong to the rack. So hard when you're playing against Hawkins to account for his size and quickness and length at 6'10".
Yes, and both coaches are shaking their heads a bit right now because the energy's high. The defense has been pretty good, but some of the decision-making not so good, creating turnovers, and everybody a little bit out of control. That was a turnover, turned back into an opportunity, and then to the free throw line. But Hawkins' length is a factor early in this game and will be, because at 6'10", like I said, he plays like a 6'5", 6'7" type player. He has improved his free throw shooting greatly. You mentioned how well he shot the free throws last year for Illinois when he was second team all Big Ten, up to 79%, but the year before he shot only 61%. So that's the kind of thing that he's done throughout his career, is work on different aspects of his game. And he's excited to learn from these coaches some other tricks of the trade and ways to improve.
Max Jones back in along with Hausen. McDaniel stays in there at the point as K-State runs a 3/4 court trap.
Yeah, this is not the man-to-man defense that sometimes you see them run. So didn't get a steal, but they use shot clock time. That's what their main goal is. Impressive.
Foul on the Wildcats. Max Jones.
What an aggressive move by Cole Franklin.
Franklin, a sophomore out of DeSoto, Texas. averaging 9.5 and 6 rebounds a game at 15 the other night in the win over Baldwin Wallace.
He was at Florida Southwestern last year, came here as a transfer, and he's been very active on the defensive end. He leads a team with 7 steals so far this year.
Not really a standout star player necessarily on this Cleveland State team, but it seems like a lot of balance and depth. They got a lot of good players, not necessarily any that you would mark down as great players right now.
Well, I think that's so well said, because you study the Cleveland State basketball team, and there are a lot of guys that they'll roll through. They do a lot of good things. I was very impressed with Dylan Arnett's ability as a big guy to play inside. He's kind of an undersized big guy. But when we talked to the Cleveland State people, my first question was almost exactly what you said. Who do you consider your best player? Yeah. By reputation or internally? And 3 of them were named. Yeah. I don't need to specify which 3, but like they really said, hey, our veterans are the ones we took to the media day, the ones we rely on. We're learning about the new guys, but I read it exactly like you did. A team of players who could do some good things, but no one standout that has to take all the load.
Franklin into traffic. It's jostled around there out to Staveski. Air ball for 3. And K-State forces a 3rd shot clock violation.
They're doing a good job of guarding the paint, playing on ball, man-to-man, and then if there is a rotation on defense and Cleveland State can kick the ball out, K-State gets the advantage, and the scouting report's going to talk about this. They're not likely to make the 3-point shot. We've seen as many air balls as 3-point shooters hit the rim here early in the game. Some of them rushed at the end of the shot clock, but they're still sitting on only 5 3-point makes all season long.
Now the count is 5 for 35 from downtown. That's a tough way to start the season from the stripe.
That's why they got to get to the mid-range. They got to get offensive rebounds and putbacks.
There's a nice pocket pass. N'Guessan took an extra step, though.
2 travels called on David N'Guessan. The other one was just accidentally picking up his pivot foot on a pass. But this time, it's called for taking 1 extra step.
Turnovers really the only negative thing so far for K-State, because they only had 9 the other night against New Orleans.
Yeah, the only negative, but one that Jerome Tang does not want to allow to creep back in. Jerome Tang was speaking this week and said, I didn't realize that we never had less than double-digit turnovers last year. It was just kind of a plague that was there all the time.
Smith tried to go glass from the corner.
That's hard to do.
Hausen. Foul on the rebound. I think we're going to stay at this end as N'Guessan got dumped to the floor. This will be on Tevin Smith.
Tevin trying to battle in there. Cleveland's doing a good job of having team rebounding. They're working hard to try to make up for that size disadvantage they have on the inside.
C.J. Jones by fall back in for McDaniel and Hawkins.
This is the 3rd time the Wildcats have played in Bramlage. One of them was an exhibition, but in each of those games, a large percentage of shots, nearing 50%, 45% of the shots were 3-point shots. That is not what we've seen here in the first half today.
Max Jones squares for 3, and he's fouled. Good find by C.J. Jones with the cross-court pass. Max Jones will shoot 3. 78% free throw shooter a year ago at Cal State Fullerton.
When I spoke about the keys, paint touches, that's one of the places. If you can kick it across and find an open 3-point shooter, K-State was ripping threes in the last game. They started the season off against New Orleans with the 10th highest number of 3-point makes in a game in K-State history, as he knocked down 13 3-pointers. And one of the guys who was hot from behind the arc was Max Jones.
Jones a year ago averaged better than 15 a game at Cal State Fullerton. 11th in scoring in the Big West Conference. He had 30 in a game at Nebraska. up in Lincoln and 5 threes in that one.
5 of 7 that day. So he's not only making threes, he's not taking that many and just ripping them in a high percentage.
Gets 2 out of 3, and the Cats are up by 12.
Show a little more of that press with a point, 3/4 court trap that they never get to the trap. Good job by the Vikings. They're not allowing it. It's been pretty quiet for Dylan Arnett so far. The guy we featured in the pregame has not been a factor yet, coming off a career high in this last game.
Stavesky again with the shot clock running down. Great feed into Arnett, and he lays it in on cue.
That's what he can do. Good pick and roll work. K-State trapped pretty well, but he has good instincts. Nice finish among the trees.
Bounce pass to Fall. Hit it on the rim going up. Gets it back and lays it in.
The guy who shoots a shot is most likely to know if it's missed and where it's going, so he's able to go right back up. But could have had a score on that nice pass by Max Jones.
Nice cut. Everything but the finish, and a tip in from J'Shawn Stevenson.
How about the Vikings attacking the offensive boards? A real strength of their team. And Dylan Arnett, I don't know, can he hear us? He made himself a force those last 2 possessions. Drove in there, made a nice pass.
Runner from C.J. Jones won't drop. Rebounded by Abide. The transfer from Wichita State. Stavesky into traffic, nearly stolen by Hausen. Stevenson gets it back, and he's fouled. Timeout on the floor, 6:16 to go. Kansas State up by a crazy run to close the half, but Wildcats have led the entire way here and up 25-15 with 6+ to go in this one.
They would love to replicate, not that deficit, but the 29-7 finishing of the first half from that point. And never letting up in the second half as the Wildcats beat New Orleans in the opener 89-65.
Foul on David Castillo before the ball comes into play. The freshman point guard seeing his first action this afternoon.
K-State able to rotate a number of players into the game. Coleman Hawkins has been the one constant, it seems. We've not seen a chore play yet in any of these first 2 games.
He had a family emergency and was out of state for a few days earlier this week. Stevenson, elbow jumper, gets the roll. J'Shawn Stevenson, who had a nice game Wednesday with 18 for the freshman out of Chicago, has 4 here in the first half.
He has a capability of driving all the way to the basket, but against K-State, he stops and pops. And many of the players of Cleveland State are guys who can get into the mid-range, get to the 12-foot shot, and score.
McDaniel has it stripped by Abide. Abide crashing that offensive glass, but out of bounds to Kansas State.
You see both teams have to really work on defensive rebounding to keep the other team from getting offensive rebounds. But what we've seen so far is Cleveland State has 5 guys back doing the best they can to rebound, and K-State has not had the commitment of everybody coming back and rebounding. And two of the big issues for the Wildcats is do not turn over the basketball and do not allow teams to get offensive rebounds.
They got Abide with the technical foul, so Hausen will shoot those for K-State, misses the first. He leads the Cats now with 7 in the first half. And Wildcat basketball with a 9-point lead. Cats will go with the 2-point guard look here with McDaniel and David Castillo both on the floor. It'll be McDaniel to bring it into the front court.
And David Castillo Castillo can shoot the ball, so being off guard is a very comfortable place for him to play.
McDaniel. And tipped in by N'Guessan. He had 10 offensive rebounds in the opener against New Orleans and gets the tip to go.
And behind those rebounds, many of them early in the game on the offensive end, he had 10 or more rebounds in the first half. They're in for the tip using his size advantage.
N'Guessan, we mentioned earlier, 21 and 15 in the opener and 10 offensive rebounds. Is that a triple-double?
Doug, a little sharp angle, hard to make the shot from there, but helping him out on the offside rebound was the tip in with the one hand by David N'Guessan.
Front rim on the three for Hausen.
Only the 5th three-point attempt in the first half. K-State's made only one.
Hawkins with the block from behind.
Third defender there gets the block. Second block of the game for him.
Castillo weaving his way on the break is tripped up and fouled by Tevin Smith. Cats are in the bonus, so a 1-and-1 for David Castillo.
Cleveland State's got to watch out to not allow frustration to become part of their play. They have a technical already, and a couple of guys with a look on their face like, what is going on? But they had a good segment of basketball for 3 or 4 minutes there.
Good look at the freshman who played for former Wildcat point guard Clint Stewart, Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Has looked so good in practice. Did not shoot it well in the season opener against New Orleans, going just 1 of 6, but trust us.
Oh, you don't have to trust. Just watch those stroke on those 2 free throws. K-State continually showing some three-quarter court pressure in this game. Haven't played man-to-man full court press yet.
The largest lead of the half at 13.
Finally play that man-to-man. Trying to get the ball inside, but see how David N'Guessan pushed him out to 12 feet away.
Arnett up and under move, won't go.
He was crafty to get that chance.
Castillo got it blocked. Loose ball up for grabs. N'Guessan snares it and into the corner for Franklin.
Five out. Started the ball screen. It turns it away.
Diva, tough shot. Another offensive rebound for the Vikings. N'Guessan, and the Vikings hit their first 3 of the ball game. That stops a stretch of 5 of 36 to begin the year.
How about the good rebound by Reese Robinson, the kick out? That's when a lot of college basketball teams hit their 3, but the cheer from the bench from Cleveland State was a sigh of relief as N'Guessan makes the three-pointer.
10-point lead after the 3.
It's almost mathematically impossible to have that many guys score and have only 20 points, but they all just do their thing a little bit, including his son, Reese.
K-State 10 of 20, 1 of 5 from downtown. That was a 4-point play from Brendan Hausen, 9 of 12 from the free throw line. You mentioned it earlier in the exhibition in the game on Tuesday against New Orleans. K-State shot about 50% of their shots from three-point range, but only 5 of the 20 attempts so far today from downtown. They've definitely focused on trying to drive it and get it inside.
Yeah, it's something you want to be able to do. It'll open the three-point shot up, but also I think it's a good strategy to use against Cleveland State with the height advantage. But the way that they are playing defense, they're out there at the three-point line. Give them credit for not allowing K-State a lot of open looks, but the more you press forward, the more you may have the ball get back in the paint behind you.
which allowed them to get to the free throw line. This will be attempt number 14 of the half for the Cats. 1 of 2 for Coleman Hawkins, who's got 6. N'Guessan into the action here. The transfer from Kentucky will replace Coleman Hawkins with 3:05 to go. He had 2 points, 2 boards, 2 blocks in 11 minutes on Tuesday in the win over the Privateers.
7-foot shot blocker.
Isolation here for Franklin. Goes over the top of Castillo. Once again, though, the Vikings come up with that 50-50 ball. It's kind of keeping them alive here in this first half.
Yep, and that's what they needed to do. That's what they do. And if they make some mid-range shots, that makes them the best they can be on offense. You see some of the isolations.
McDaniel is steal in the run out.
So he's stolen the pass, this time on ball, tipping the ball away from a dribbler, showing you a lot of good defense.
Fifth steal of the half for Kansas State. 2 of them have been by McDaniel and easy layups at the other end. Back to the 13-point lead to match the largest of this half. Stavesky step back 3 on Yenso and Arnett battle. 9th offensive rebound by Cleveland State, but there's McDaniel again with the quick hands. Hausen transition 3. He hits.
K-State gets the steal and a run out. Good pass for a 3-point shot, and the crowd gives their biggest roar of the game. But the coaching staff for K-State is going to be thinking about and talking about the other end, where the chances were there for Cleveland State working the offensive boards before the steal.
Stavesky, a high arching runner in the lane, drops. Yeah, K-State turned 2 offensive rebounds by Cleveland State into a layup and a 3-pointer with good defense on the second shot chance. Yenso not ready for the pass inside from McDaniel, and here come the Vikings.
That was an unusual angle. He wasn't thinking that that was going to end up being a pass. Get into the paint, get in the mid-range, try to make a shot and go after the offensive boards. The Vikings do a good job of that. K-State finally gets a 3-point shot because running down court, freshman David Castillo captures the ball, but guess who he's looking for? Quickly. I bet 11, if he's here, can knock down a 3-pointer in transition. Smart decision. That's what you want from a point guard. Sometimes you open guys slightly behind you, Ben. It's not always in front of you.
Rich had it and then had it taken away. Cleveland State's best play is an offensive rebound here in the first half.
They are going to hold here for the last shot of the first half.
Isolation for Franklin, and he's fouled by Hausen.
They've got a number of guys who can go one-on-one if given the opportunity, if you can keep the help defense away. And Brendan Hausen trying not to foul. That is not the time you can foul. It gives Cleveland State an opportunity at the free throw line. Now he'll let it go out of his mind real quick if K-State gets the ball down the other end and he gets a 3-point shot at the end of the half.
Which is quite possible.
And that is not meant to be a negative statement. It's the mentality you've got to have. Will Cleveland State change up their defense here and push the pressure up and try to keep K-State from getting down the court quickly and easily?
Yep. There's your pressure.
You got to pressure without fouling, or K-State will get free throws.
McDaniel, high off the window, no.
Good help defense there by the coach's son, Reese Robinson. He had a nice first half.
The offensive rebounding Will have possession to begin this second half.
And they get their point guard Chase Robinson back, who got into foul trouble early and was really a non-factor with little playing time.
Yeah, he's got 2 fouls. Tevin Smith on the court has 3. Skaveski front rim on a 3. Rebound, Dylan Arnett. And just like the first half ended, Cleveland State with an offensive rebound. And
rinse and repeat.
Yeah, Jerome Tang will get some size in there with by fall set to check in. David N'Guessan, pump fake, and the finish.
There's K-State getting behind the defense where they can be successful. Cleveland State fights hard on defense. Does a good job offensive rebounding, but Dylan Arnett is really special at that.
Let's check in with Sophie Smith for an update on the Vikings.
Hey, thanks, Ben. I talked to Coach Robinson, and he talked to me about the environment, how it took his guys just a little bit to get adjusted. He really likes the way they're crushed in the offensive glass, but K-State's versatility is just giving him problems right now. He really wants to see his guys continue to hustle and start making some tough shots.
Speaking of open shots, there's one in transition for Brendan Hausen. He's got 3 threes on the afternoon.
K-State could not get in a good position to turn a 2-on-1 break into a layup. It was kind of even numbers. So what do? You look back, get the ball to Brendan Hausen, but again, they got the ball inside first, into the paint, and then kicked it out.
Foul on Max Jones, who isn't so sure about that.
One thing we've seen the Vikings do to start the second half is attack more. Most of the offense started pretty far out the three-point line, working it outside, looking for opportunities to make a play. Here in the second half, they have just attacked. First opportunity, drive the ball inside and see what you can do. This time, it's Isaac Abide who gets to the free throw line, a transfer from a Kansas school, Wichita State, where he played last year. Originally from Albany, Georgia.
And that's the 3rd personal on Max Jones, so foul trouble for the transfer from Cal State Fullerton.
That seems about the only way to keep his effectiveness down. The Swiss Army knife that we started with in the open. How soon will Jerome Tang bring him back in? He's not one to sit guys for a long time if they get a second foul in the first half or a 3rd foul in the second half. Good job of not going up in the air by Tevin Smith. See that pump fake by Brendan Hausen. A lot of guys fly by.
6 to shoot. Into Doug McDaniel. C.J. Jones, count it! And 1.
And Chase Robinson going, I cannot believe I just picked up another foul, and I was not trying to make a play on the ball, not trying to get a steal, but he was behind the whole time. And this time, C.J. Jones gets to a very good angle to score the basketball.
First 2 of the day for the transfer from Illinois Chicago. Had 8 points, 2 boards, 4 assists in the opener against UNO, and finishes off the 3-point play. K-State enjoying its biggest lead of the day.
Good help defense by K-State, not allowing the drive this time. And again,
Robinson rings the bell from 3.
His first 3-point make of the year. That time in rhythm, not thinking too much, rips the shot.
And an offensive foul on by fall, running over right through Chase Robinson.
Now you hand off the basketball and run into a defender, that's a foul. That was not the case this time. He just got unlucky that there was probably enough time from the pick to allow the roll, but he didn't roll. He just accidentally ran right over the Cleveland State player.
Arnett inside, by fall is going to get called for the goaltend.
By late, maybe. Good offense by Cleveland State, first of all, but look at the, was it going up still? Quick jumping by fall They call it a goaltend. Good offense by Cleveland State. They are pushing the ball closer to the basket in this half.
I think they'll take a look at that at the next time out. Marcus Pettigrew is indicating that to the scorer's table. Hausen, step back three. Oh my! Brendan Hausen, the Manhattan marksman.
The marksman is a dancer as well, making that one.
Woo. 16 and 2 early threes here to begin the second half.
That's as tough as it gets right there. Driving in, step back, angle, and pops it in over the defender.
McDaniel had it poked away.
Do we have some background music to play with this? Because look at these steps. And the step back for a three. That's a shot you can practice over and over because it doesn't matter where the defender is. You're going to get that shot off. See him breathing hard right there? He's working on defense. He's not just going to the offensive end and bombing threes, and that's the real story of why he's earning as many minutes as he is.
17 in the opener, 16 here already today. McDaniel foul going up with the left hand as Doug gets downhill and will earn 2 shots from the free throw line.
You can see when he drives the ball as a smaller player, one of the things he'll do is just not waste any time to get the other hand on the ball. He'll just go up with the dribble hand. He's done it from the right side. This time he comes in from the left and gets fouled. Did we just break a record for the longest time sitting on the front of the rim with a basketball and a free throw?
That almost stopped.
I see the ball get stuck on the back part of the rim or on the side. Could even sit on the back square. We've seen that before, but
1 of 2 for McDaniel.
People thought their streaming service stopped for a second and was looking for the spinning button.
Ugo Onyenso off the bench for Jerome Tang.
Your internet connection is just fine. Whoa!
Tedeschi lost a shoe, and Hausen cleans it up for him. And now a carry called on Cole Franklin.
I don't know what the rules are about touching other people's shoes or. But he just said, this is dangerous. I'll flip it over the side. Very polite. And they're going to make him retired. He slipped it right back on. The official's going, no, I want to see you retie it. So Tedeschi does.
Buddy Rich off the bench as well into McDaniel with the pressure in the backcourt from Tedeschi. Franklin trying to deny the ball from Hausen, and a whistle away from the ball. And
offensive fouls, setting screens for others. Another turnover for the Wildcats.
Called on Hausen. 16-point cushion for the defensively. I mean, they haven't been trying to take him away in the half-court game, but K-State has found him a couple of times in transition, and then using that ball fake, he's freed himself up for a couple of three-pointers. How about 8 of 15 on the week to begin his K-State career from downtown?
It's very impressive, and I think the Cleveland State's done a good job of defending him. Each of those situations, other than the first one, the 4-pointer, is something you wouldn't want from a defensive perspective. K-State showed zone that time for the first possession.
Onyenso forcing the miss. Buddy Rich going to try a three. He hits! Buddy with the triple.
Buddy Rich for 3. His first career three-point make for the Wildcats. He looked like he was a three-point shooter. He looked like he needed to be on the highlight reel we just had for Brendan Hausen. Look at this inside out. David N'Guessan, step, and beautiful shot. Coach Tang talked about Buddy Rich and says, hey, if he gets 20 minutes a game, he will be helping us win basketball games. And a lot of people are excited about the different things that he can do. But he pointed out, you got to remember that when you're on the court for 20 minutes, you probably have the ball in your hands, if you're Buddy Rich, for only one of those 20 minutes. What are you going to do with the other 19? What kind of movement are you going to have? How are you going to play defense? What rebounding aspect will you have?
Yeah, he continues to earn more minutes and showing us the outside shooting skills. Hawkins had that blocked. KJ Debrick with the rejection. Hausen steps in to draw the charge.
You don't see many charges in college basketball. It's been an emphasis the last few seasons to try to get away from block fouls and charges, but this time in position, waiting to take the hit. J'Shawn Stevenson, the freshman, a little out of control. He needed to be over a little bit to his left to come in on the angle on the fast break.
Hawkins bumped and fouled before the shot. Team foul number 4, so K-State will inbounds.
Coleman Hawkins has played just under 18 minutes today. He was out for a little while. In the first half, he was a staple of the K-State offense and the 5 on the floor. He had a little break here with a different group of 5 on the court until now.
They bring it into Hawkins. McDaniel on the curl. His fadeaway won't drop. And pulled down by KJ Debrick.
Sometimes you try to post up little on little. Good defense though by Cleveland State. Clearing out.
Trying to back down on N'Guessan. Franklin from the top. No, and tracked down by Hawkins.
That's good movement, but that's the thing that the Vikings are going to have to improve on, Ben, is can they make that three-pointer at a little bit higher efficiency? Good pass, good skip pass out, wide open, inside out, passing for a shot, and yet it doesn't go in.
Hawkins again drawing contact on the penetration. Will be at the free throw line again.
K-State scored the last 7 points with a chance for more here at the free throw line.
Hawkins, the only player in Illinois history with 900 points, 500 boards, 200 assists, 100 blocks, and 100 steals.
Stat sheet stuffer, season after season. Played 4 years at Illinois. His dad, Rodney, played basketball at San Diego State, and his sisters, 2 of them, actually 3 sisters play college basketball or have just finished playing college basketball, including one at Kansas Newman in Wichita.
Wing 3 drops for J'Shawn Stevenson. 7 in the ball game for.
See, Ben, how much better would Cleveland State be? How big a threat will they become if that ends up being a finish to that play? K-State played good defense, but they had a quick hit to the three-point shooter and knocks it down.
Hawkins can't answer at the other end. Long rebound out to McDaniel. Stevenson, an all-city selection in Chicago, all-time leading scorer at his high school. And this time Hawkins does answer with the deep 3.
He doesn't look for the shot that often, but it's amazing. When he missed one, he said, I got to get one, man. Let's get me the ball.
37% from downtown a year ago for the Illini, including 59 makes. Stolen by McDaniel. Heat check for Hausen, in and out. McDaniel wants in on the action. No, Buddy Rich or Hawkins, one of them whistled for the foul. It'll go on Hawkins.
Coleman Hawkins has been a distributor from inside the paint area, elbow area, but this time one step back from behind the arc makes it look easy to make another three-point shot for K-State. That last steal was just beautiful. Getting a trap near half court, what did Doug McDaniel anticipate the ball has to be thrown to this guy. He's the only option, and he was there to make the steal.
I think that's 5 steals already for Doug McDaniel. Castillo gets fouled.
Missed opportunity there as Ibrahim Adiba had a layup opportunity. He missed it, and on the rebound action, Reese Robinson called for the foul.
Hawkins, ball fake, alley-oop, N'Guessan. That is vintage Coleman Hawkins right there.
That's getting the ball into the paint. He probably wanted to get a little bit more on the ball, but even though it slipped a little out of his hands, he's so tall, it went right to the rim so K-State could get an easy alley-oop.
21-point advantage now for the Cats as we head to timeout.
Play, and this year LSU will be coming in this Thursday.
Cam Carter had a great game for the Wildcats as he returned to his home state last year. Now he's going to come back here wearing the yellow and purple of the Tigers.
He played with passion and purpose when he came back home. So will he consider this home and play when he comes back this way?
I'm here, guys.
Thanks, Sophie. Yeah, talk about a guy finding the right fit and the right place to go. Yeah, like Sophie said, didn't play a whole lot at Villanova. Probably second person or second player off the bench, averaged 6 points a game. But wow, what a start for him here at K-State.
Yeah, we're not finished with this game, and he has 16 points already. Had 17 in the previous game against New Orleans, and in each of them he's had 4 3-point makes. But the energy he's put out on defense, working on that part of his game, having a pride about it. So he's allowed to learn how to play K-State basketball, and he also got to bring that mentality of I can make the 3-ball and affect college basketball that he had from Villanova. So I'm sure he's really happy to be integrated in and learn about the defensive concepts that K-State's going to play, but they did not tone down his ability to look for his shot, which is his strength.
David Castillo fouled shooting the 3. And he's back at the stripe. 3 for 3 on the day.
Everyone thought it was a 2-shot foul. Couldn't remember that, oh, he was fouled from behind the arc, so he'll get an extra free throw.
Jerome Tang talks about his championship habits and being mature beyond his freshman year.
And you can tell in the games that K-State has played so far this year, when he's on the court, you don't at all start attributing some of his actions like, oh, well, that's just the freshman making that play. He looks just as comfortable as the veterans playing.
A 14-3 run you see there for K-State. Biggest lead of the day at 58-35 as we approach the midway point of the second half. Franklin, nice drive and gets it to roll home.
He has a lot of capabilities. He can drive the ball all the way to the basket. That time working to the left side, he hits his mid-range shot. Cole Franklin.
Max Jones back in there with the 3 fouls for K-State.
K-State's playing a little 2-man game on the left side. Got a switch. Little guy on David.
Nice job by Franklin. And a good bounce pass. Castillo's got to foul Debrick.
Well, we've seen about 3 straight great plays by Cole Franklin. Debrick ready for that pass. No look, bounce pass inside. Not always easy to catch, but KJ Debrick there, he'll get the foul. But David N'Guessan needs to not overcomplicate things. He has a little guy on him. He's making the ball move on the bounce toward the basket. Just jump stop, look, possibly just go right up for your shot. You're right there. No need to try to kick it to the outside.
Ugo Onyenso back in for K-State. Wildcats can get him involved.
Played 4.5 minutes so far. Be interesting if they call a play to try to get the ball to him down low to work the post. Oh, good tap away. Guess who?
Franklin. And they'll call it over and back.
Those bright shoes he has makes us sure that there's only one of him out there.
Well, coach has got to love that. Daniel Robinson seeing the effort given here by Franklin with his team down 20.
And hands tapping the ball away, going and getting the ball off the floor. It's been hard working against this K-State defense, but they have good ball movement, a good plan.
Tough shot from Franklin, and N'Guessan has the weak side board.
That's what Jerome Tang wants to see when he's in the game. Just be taller than everybody and just grab the rebound.
Ooh, that's a tough pass there by Hawkins.
2 times K-State's had the ball inside and forced it back out and turned it over.
You like the idea of the unselfishness, but hey, go ahead and take the shot.
I thought that this team would start on the unselfish side, and that's where you got to work through and realize that your team and your coaching staff say, no, shoot the ball right there. And you're not going to have to worry about equal distribution. Here early.
Wow, Stevenson. Whoa. And a hard bank from 25.
Here in the season, if you take some shots that are leaning more your way, more attempts than the others, it kind of feels like it's a big deal. But you mentioned it earlier, as the season goes on, different guys should step up in each game. And K-State turns it over again.
Franklin got a piece of that one. Debrick flashes in the middle and gets it to go over the top of N'Guessan.
He posted up really well. He uses his size. What a nice pass by Ibrahim Adiba to get the ball down there. And K-State's going to have to call a timeout.
58-43, and Jerome Tang will send the starters back to the scorer's table.
You get rewarded when you do everything else right. That's when you get the bank three-pointer in. Cleveland State is on an 8-0 run as Brendan Hausen leads everybody in scoring with 16 points. The three-point shooting, K-State not leaning on that today. And a lot of guys scoring for K-State as both teams counting on a multitude of players. And in the timeout, head coach Daniel Robinson goes to his zone for the first time today.
Hawkins, step back three, and he hits. Pretty three-pointer by Coleman Hawkins.
That was almost the exact step pattern that Brendan Hausen made in his three.
We got a horse game going.
That's right.
Who's next?
Jerome Tang hopes it's another Wildcat because after the timeout, remember they were behind 25-15 in the last game against New Orleans. He called timeout in case they shot off from that point forward.
Reese Robinson connects for three.
He's getting better. Plays like a coach's son. Oh, he is the head coach's son.
They're going to have a lot of fun over the next 4 years, aren't they?
Think about how much time he spent in his life in Ames, Iowa, where his dad was a longtime assistant.
Hausen, yes, his fifth three.
New season high in three-point makes with 5. 2 in a row after the timeout.
All of a sudden, we got triples dropping everywhere at both ends of the court. Debrick couldn't finish it off inside against a couple Wildcats. Here's a look at Hausen's fifth triple.
David N'Guessan does a good job of picking off his guy. He had to move and still get set enough to not get called for the foul. Barely gets there in time, and Hausen takes advantage of it.
Son gets tripped up trying to rescreen there. 1-1 will put David N'Guessan at the free throw line. Fourth career double-double Tuesday against New Orleans with the 21 and 15.
Just underneath his career highs. He's had 23 points, and last year he had 16 rebounds against Iowa State.
Just a 42% free throw shooter last year.
Surprising that there's a little tension and talking between the two teams, because no one had any intent in that play to hurt anybody or try to foul.
Eba with the crossover all the way to the rim, can't finish. Robinson, and then was it Robinson or Debrick?
Debrick over the top. He's done such a good job at the post. How about refusing that screen and on the drive? A really good play. Then a tip back, then another tip back.
Yeah, 2 more offensive rebounds added to the total for Cleveland State, and N'Guessan gets pushed around again.
First of all, just a nice job of refusing the screen, but late, trying to get the ball in. Reese Robinson not there, and then kind of a couple people back, KJ Debrick. But look at the intent and the aggressiveness going to the board. He was setting the ball screen that was refused out near the three-point line, and he had the discipline to go, I'm going to go inside and make a play.
13 offensive rebounds for Cleveland State. N'Guessan again misses the front end of a 1-and-1. Kip Kissinger says K-State basketball.
K-State has a lead. In a good position to win this basketball game, but this coaching staff's going to be.
Hello, David N'Guessan with the alley-oop.
Can't bump me when I'm flying that high.
Yeah, I like these better than the free throws.
Took some bruising hits, but that time the perfect alley-oop. Baseline, inbounds. What a fun assist that is when you're sitting on a baseline. You go, wait a second, this is the easiest thing ever. I could toss the ball over everybody, and David N'Guessan comes flying in for his second dunk of the game on an alley-oop.
Jerome Tang and the staff so good on those inbounds plays. Foul on Rich.
Cleveland State has picked 7th this year in the Horizon League. Milwaukee, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Northern Kentucky, Oakland, they are considered the favorites. But this team has a purpose about how they play. They have a lot of options under head coach Danielle Robinson. And he has an interesting story because Deshaun Parker played at Cleveland State just 2 seasons ago. He went overseas and played 1 year and came back in and became a full-time assistant coach, the youngest in the country. So when they need an extra guy to go out on the court and show them a few things at practice, you got a superstar player who can go out and do that. But I like the way these guys play. They're going to have to hit their 3-ball better to get over the hump in college basketball, but it's not been easy when you've been on the road to Michigan and K-State to start off the season.
Yeah, this is their 3rd game in 6 days, kind of an NBA schedule to begin their first week of college hoops, but the effort has been there throughout this one today. Jones back to McDaniel. Hawkins the runner. Stevenson stolen by Hausen. Showtime for N'Guessan. He covered some ground there.
That may be the first time in 3 seasons I've seen David N'Guessan out in front, throwing it down off the bounce. This was going to be a layup for Cleveland State. Reese Robinson was in position, but Hausen gets his hands on it. And Dunk City, David N'Guessan, 3 stuffs today. This one on his own.
Quick timeout from Cleveland State as the Cats are back on top by 20. And we talked a little bit about it, Stan, in the New Orleans game with the net rankings and the emphasis on margin of victory. K-State wants to keep the hammer down there a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, for instance, Colorado played Northern Colorado last night and won the game. But it was in overtime by 2 points. Say, well, you did your work. You won your game. That was K-State's story last year, early in the year. A lot of overtime games, and the theme that you now remember is Jerome Tang's never lost as a head coach an overtime game in 2 years. Last year, I think he had 7 wins. But some of those were early in the year against teams that were not considered in K-State's range. And the Wildcats coaching staff thought, well, a win's a win. Let's go on and get to the next game. But the fact is, when you study the net rankings and how they work, margin of victory does matter. Meeting expectation or exceeding expectation to your competition matters in the math. So Jerome Tang has had a focus this year. You better play all the way through.
Has the depth to certainly widen some leads here and start into the game situation.
You're not risking injury or something to win by another 6 points. You got guys you can roll in.
Arnett, wow, nice finish over the top of N'Guessan.
If you don't get a chance to watch Dylan Arnett very much, I hope you take the little snippets of what he's done today. Because when he plays guys that are his size, he takes advantage of them today. Got slowed down a little bit by the height from K-State, but still showed you some of the things he can do.
Backdoor, Hausen to Jones. Foul on N'Guessan with the drive by Chase Robinson.
How about Hausen getting the opportunity to get an assist? That does not happen very often, but he and Max Jones are on the same page. Backdoor cut, no help defense because the other side's lifted. Perfect pass and finish. You get a little bit of the theme you mentioned, Ben. In the first 2 regular season games for K-State, Brendan Hausen's been a constant. But think about how Max Jones controlled the game and played so great in the first game against New Orleans. How David N'Guessan had over 20 points in that game. But in this game, it's not necessarily those guys. It's many other players stepping up, and that's what K-State expects. Expects a lot of different guys to make their play. Very excited from a K-State perspective to see Doug McDaniel be more comfortable today, play more fluently. David Castillo, when he got in there, could look completely comfortable. Now the Wildcats would like to get guys like Byfall, N'Guessan, feeling more a part of what they need to do to be a winning player for the Wildcats.
Double bonus. Be 2 shots for McDaniel, but a timeout first. K-State up 18. David N'Guessan, another strong game. Thursday doubleheader here in Bramlage. That's going to be a lot of fun. Number 21 Creighton will take on Jeff Mitty and the Wildcats, and then Cam Carter's return to Bramlage Coliseum, the nightcap.
2 big games, and football will be back in play with Chris Kleiman's press conference on Monday and back into the normal routine that the Cats football team will have. Today, Chris Kleiman is able to go watch his son play football in a small college game in the state of Kansas, so rare opportunity for him to be a normal father on this Saturday.
McDaniel with 6 in the ball game. He's got 5 steals. He's been impressive on the defensive end today for Jerome Tang and company. Noveski deep 3.
That's encouraging from the Cleveland State perspective. Just make your normal share of 3-point shots, and it'll be something they did not have in their first 2 games.
Backdoor cut, trying to find McDaniel. Good defense by Adibe.
17th turnover by the Wildcats today. K-State's got a high shooting percentage in this ball game and 53% from behind the arc.
Blocked by Hawkins. Tevin Smith over the top of Byfall. Good finish, Tevin Smith.
Big time play to hang in the air. The Denver transfer from a couple years ago started 14 times for Cleveland State, went right at the Wildcats. Good ball movement.
Hausen again. My goodness. 22.
That was in the face of a double team.
17-point cushion for the Cats, and let's check in with Sophie.
Hey, thanks, Ben. So earlier this year, Coach Robinson said the great thing about their 6 returners is 4 of them had starter-type minutes, and the other 2 are redshirts. So they all live the culture of Cleveland State every single day. So when the new guys come in, they know what's expected of them. And the returners are just such a great group of leaders who have really changed and reinvented the culture at Cleveland State.
Thanks, Sophie. Hausen, Jones, back-to-back threes. Cat fans, you're going to see a lot of that this year. Get used to it. The Wildcats are back up by 20.
Brendan Hausen, what a high percentage. Ben, 6 of 9, 6 3-point makes, ties his career high from last year when he played for Villanova. And this is the first time he's ever touched 20 points in college basketball as he is the leading scorer tonight, bombing from behind the arc as K-State's shown their proficiency at shooting the 3-ball. 59% shooting from behind the 3-point line for K-State. And another game of 10 or more 3-point makes, as that was the 10th one for the Wildcats. Last year they only had 5 games all year. They've got 2 out of 2 this season.
70% in the second half overall for K-State. And they're up by 20 here. And Taj Manning into the ball game. And our first look at Moby Ike-Garuka, the 6'7" sophomore, originally from Ireland, the transfer from Ellsworth, Iowa Community College in there. He wears number 4 for the Cats. Robinson steps into a 3. Arnett fouled after he collects the offensive rebound.
You get introduced to the game and you say, okay, here I go, I'm getting a chance to play, and you better watch closely, because when the ball goes up and Dylan Arnett has a chance to go get the rebound, the new Wildcats in the game better be ready, because he is going to go get the ball. He does.
And Spencer Bain seeing his first action. The walk-on senior out of Overland Park comes to the Wildcats after 4 years at Division II Flagler College down in Florida.
1 mile from the beach.
Yeah, he was part of a Division II Final Four team down there. Had over 500 career points. He was on Jerome Tang's radio show the other night, and probably his first, big-time radio interview, and he hit it out of the park. Well-spoken young man.
Yeah, and he had to talk to Wyatt Thompson, the voice of K-State. I'm nervous every time I have to talk with Wyatt Thompson on the air.
I doubt that somehow. Ike-Garuka gets it into Bain.
He went to Blue Valley West High School, did Spencer Bain.
By Fall. Off to Manning. Open 3 for Castillo. A little strong, and rebounded by Tevin Smith. Smith, the crossover. Yes.
Multiple players can do that for Cleveland State. They play like this with effort, good defense, and start making some threes like they did today. It'll be a tough out. Can't hand it off and pick off a guy in college basketball. Ike-Garuka needs to learn from that. And another turnover for K-State. So that'll be a thing the coaching staff can emphasize as they get ready for LSU in the next game.
Goaltend on By Fall. Second time he's been whistled for the goaltend.
He could fly, but he's got to time it out. That time easy call. The first one was really close.
Josh Manning lines up a triple. Stavesky rims out a 3 and rebounded by Manning.
You would not know you're at the end of the game if you're watching Cleveland State play. K-State's rotated some players out, but they're playing like they don't know there's a finish line. And I'm sure head coach Danielle Robinson is happy to see that effort.
Robinson, starting point guard in there. Had foul trouble in the first half, but has had a solid second half for the Vikings.
Wishing he didn't get into foul trouble today. And on the net rankings mentality, K-State's not going to be happy with only a 13-point lead right now.
Had it into the 20 several times, but Cleveland State, give them credit for playing the full 40 minutes here, and K-State will move to 2-0. And the Vikings will drop to 1-2, but Brendan Hausen, big story today, Stan, with 6 threes and a collegiate career high 22 points. He could